Hello, it's June 2022, and I just want to say I am ecstatic. And I just want to give a great big shout out to the hospital. They did a fantastic job, and my experience was excellent. I have nothing negative to say. And I'm going to tell the story real quick about my time at the hospital from beginning to end, just skimming over some highlights and giving a few shout outs. And then I'm just going to recap what it's all about for those who don't know. So a week ago, I had a severe pain again that actually began in 2020, and I'll get into that later. And it was insane. It was so bad. And I managed to get myself to the hospital, to emergency, and I remember going up to the emergency door, and I basically collapsed. Unfortunately, there was security out there, and they came over and, asking, am I okay? Obviously, they don't know what's going on. They don't know if I'm on drugs or anything, so, they were cautious. But they were very professional, and then once I said, what was happening, they actually helped me into emergency and helped me get processed. And it was late at night, so it was really quick. And I was they got me a bed in emergency, and the nurses and staff there were fantastic. That's all I have to say. And I stayed overnight, and I did leave for a few hours the next day because I had a few things I had to take care of. And despite the doctor's orders, they were adamant like I needed surgery right away to save my life. And I understood that, but I mean, there's I had to take care of some things of mine. And I came back. I was in the bed in the emergency ward for a couple of days. And again, the staff and the nurses were really good, really good. I can't say anything bad. And there's one particular nurse, when she was finishing her shift, on this one particular morning, that I ended up leaving for a few more hours. I'll get into in a moment. I remember telling her during the night, she was the first person that I said that I was terrified. I was scared of the surgery, and there was a lot of complications, and they were having me going through x-rays and MRIs and CAT scans and all sorts of stuff. And at one point there was remember there was a doctor. He was kind of a bit perplexed, and remember him asking, have you noticed your eyes turning yellow and your skin turning yellow? And I don't have a mirror that I look at myself to really notice. I did notice a little bit, but so there was a lot of concern of my health. And it was very serious. But this nurse, she went over and above and actually spent a little bit more time talking to me, and I ended up telling her my story and everything else. And when she was leaving at 7:30, she had come in, pulled the curtain, and just said, assuming that I would still be in the emergency ward after the surgery, she would something about she'd come and find me, check up on me or whatever. And that was just like so, yeah. So that was my time in the emergency. Again, just want to thank everyone there. It was you guys made it so easy. I mean, well, as easy as it could get, right? And I'd left to take care of a few things. It was during this time I made a video I was hoping that I would never have to, it would never be released public. And I had it preset for a month later. And that video was basically if I didn't survive the surgery. And I had made it real quick. It was nothing, there's nothing fancy to it. There's no overlays or anything like that. And I got that set up and went back to the hospital. And by now I was waiting for a private room. And so I went to my private room, and the surgery was scheduled the next morning. And that nurse who put me into the room and got me all set up and got the IV intravenous set up for me and getting me back onto like I was taking apparently a lot of antibiotics and all sorts of stuff through this thing. And I gotta tell you, she was so patient with me because I was so nervous and scared. I was just making the stupidest jokes, trying to chill out, and she realized that, and I want to give a shout out to her as well, because I mean I was just babbling foolishness. So yeah, that was that night, and there was the night nurse there, and both those nurses I ended up telling as well that I'm really scared about this surgery now. Come the next day, the day of the surgery, I gotta tell you, the surgical team, fantastic. I mean, amazing people. These people know what they're doing, and the surgeon that I had specialized in this particular procedure, and you know, he went on to qualify himself, and I'm just like, okay, I had nothing to worry about. There were some concerns with regards to some of my other health issues, such as my lungs and my heart, and so there was we had some meetings which kind of slowed when the surgery was going to take place. But these people were so professional, and they, you know, were asking the questions, and then you know, we really had to make sure that they, you know, I had to make sure that they knew. So I told them what I knew about all these things. And the last person that I talked to, they said, you're going to be fine. There's the person who's doing the anesthesia, really good, top notch, and they're going to monitor my breathing. So I have breathing issues. I've talked about this in other videos. And I remember when it came time to go to the surgery, this is not tears of sadness, really. I was terrified, so terrified. And I was being pushed down the hall into the surgical room, and I had to sign some other papers. I don't even know what I was signing, what it was all about. Something I have to look into later, but whatever. And everyone's talking to me, and you know, they realized that I was scared, and I ended up saying, I'm scared. And there's one guy that was on my left side. To me, he was just talking anything that anyone was saying after I was being pushed down the hall. I was just kind of like, nothing was computing. And I just remember I looked at him for a moment, and he was trying to explain something to me. I don't even know what. And he looked at me as I looked at him, and he realized that like nothing's computing. I'm just like, I'm there. And I remember everyone standing around, and I tell you, the moment there was just before, like now I'm on the operating table, and I remember looking around this big room for a moment, and to me it was like it was overwhelming. Overwhelming is probably a good word. And just before they put the little mask thing on me, and I remember the first person, he was on my left. Was it not the same one? He had touched my shoulder, like in comfort, and I felt it. I didn't respond. I remember I just kept staring straight up, just trying to focus, like whatever's going to happen is going to happen, right? And someone else touched me on the other side, and a few people had just touched me with that touch of comfort. And I felt it. I just want to let everyone know that I felt it. It was good. And they were amazing. It was an amazing team. My first real surgery, you know, and put the mask on, and all I heard was breathe deep, breathe deep. And I remember at that moment I'm thinking, okay, I can just get up and run, or I said no. I started breathing deep, and it was like a big pop, and that was it. And next thing I know, I'm in the recovery room, and there was there's two nurses to my left, and there was one to the right, and you know, they're calling my name and asking me, you know, where you are, type of thing. I can't remember exactly what, and I was coming to, and you know, I again, very professional, very kind, and I just want to say to the surgical team, you know, you guys did an awesome job, and you got me through it. And yeah, I do remember just before, so at some point they said, I was told that this is the worst that they've ever seen, or one of the worst. This is like textbook worst scenario that they had to deal with. So, and you know, I went back to my room, and the staff there, you know, over the days of when I was recovering, fantastic. The nurses there were great, and there was one nurse. Yeah, he worked over the nights, and one night we had a few fairly long chats. I mean, he had work to do, but he took that time and talked to him, you know, telling him a few things that I was going through mentally, emotionally. Kind of confided with him, and great person, great nurse, and wanted to thank him as well. Shout out. And not to say that the other nurses weren't, I mean, they all deserve a shout out, but these are the ones that really kind of stood out. So yeah, basically that's what I wanted to just say. Surgery apparently was a success. Obviously it's a success. As far as I know, there was no issues. Everything went fine, and everything should be healed up in a few weeks, and it's probably going to take about a month or two before the internal equilibrium reestablishes itself, and life goes on. So yeah, again, I just want to thank this hospital for an amazing job, and I would recommend this hospital for anything. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I've been dying, no pun intended, to say this for a few days now, as I was laying in bed, recovering and everything else. So, and they accommodated the fact that I don't have the needle, and I didn't get swabbed. They accommodated that quite fine. I know there's a lot of people, especially in what they call the truther communities, that think otherwise, and I can assure you that that's not the case. Hospitals, at least this one, very professional, and I don't even have any proper descriptives to express my gratitude. So that's what this video is about. I was going to talk about this, what this was all about really. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave in the description box a write-up, because I don't want this video to carry on forever. I just want this to be a shout out. So thank you. Thank you very much. And I feel better. I feel tired and stuff from everything with the surgery and stuff, but not having this problem draining me, I definitely feel a difference so far. So thank you. And thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.
Listen to this and write it down if you can't remember it. You're never going to outgrow warfare. You simply must learn to fight. I hear people say, when is it going to get easier? When you die.